when we say changing gender narratives, and there is this idea that OTT, I mean, to put it crudely, OTT channels are have got more sex and sleaze. And indeed, there are some channels perhaps which are creating such an impression. And whereas you have very strong women characters who are being projected, there are certain shows and certain OTT channels which who have a slant towards a little content which has some amount of titillation, is the best word perhaps to use, titillation in their content to bring in the younger audiences, would want to kind of look at and say, why should it be there? And then if there is some amount of censorship out there, would those be the first targets of censorship, or should not they be any censorship at all? So, Dolly, I would like you to reflect on this a bit, and then I will open up the discussion and take it further along. I would want Dr. Sharda also to talk
I
about it.
don't have long answers to give to any of that, except that I do like the content of the OTT. They are honest, and because they are not being made by all the big names, which have to put in a whole lot of things, I am very happy with the content of the OTT, of those that I have seen. I'm sure I'm choosy about that also. But what I love the writing. I love the production values, which have been very, very good. And the performances, of course, giving a chance to a lot of young, new actors from the theatre companies, from other workshops that they emerge. I also like the content. They're talking about issues which are ignored by and large. And they're so sensitively handled. It's all about true life. There's so much honesty in the OTT serials and films that I have watched.
There is absolutely a different kind of approach when it comes to the making of the content, as it were, as opposed to when large scale cinema, which is specifically triggering certain base entertainment oriented kind of receptors in your mind. Vinta, I'd like you to come in and share a point of view on this, about the content having these two little bit of a salacious side to it also, and some people in the gender narrative, using gender narratives as an excuse perhaps, are also indulging in something in this manner. Do you feel that that is true, or it is?
So there are two sides to what question you have asked. One side is there's a growing consciousness towards the gender narratives that is coming through very strongly and with great assertion from the younger generation of creators. I can see that they are almost militant about how they are going to be portraying women or men and different sexualities as well, LGBTQ and everything. So that consciousness is there, and there is that push. But then the pull of the commercial and commercial side of the story is there as well, where uh, we may not say like it was said in the 1980s and 90s के फिल्म में रेप है या फिल्म में आइटम सॉन्ग है या नहीं, because that is what distributors would ask for, and then the filmmakers had to put it in. The language and the vocabulary has changed. They will say, let's talk about atrocities. Now there are so much of content that is coming through on channels as well. I'm not talking about Netflix and Amazon or Z5 or Voot. They're all very conscious platforms. But there are platforms other than that which are actually exploiting this opportunity greatly. They will say we are addressing the issue of rape. Now, how that can be perceived is very different. If you take a Delhi crime, without showing the incident, they have addressed that issue with the greatest of sensitivity involved. Whereas on the other side of the fence, it is a visualization of the act which has the selling appeal, you see? And that is which is being used as opportunity to get grab greater eyeballs and greater numbers. With a smartphone in the hand of just everybody, from down to the last mile, it's become a very very challenging situation.
The push and pulls of commercial success will perhaps create a little bit of more change in it, but in this the overall and the overarching change that is being created is for the positive. And Dr. Sharda, you have been, very, sort of involved in viewing and understanding how women are projected on across various media, be it television or films, and now with the OTT, channels. What is your take that can women be put up front in a very organized manner in the OTT, and if that is so, how would you envision something like that?
I don't watch much of OTTs, but still I feel that OTT is one option, one platform which is providing lot of scope for different kinds of formats. You have the short films, you have the series, you have films which are released on OTT, different lengths, different themes, etc. So that is giving, I think, lot of scope for the creative creators, content creators to come up with stories which show women in in diverse forms, and a great variety of woman characterization is there. And particularly, the films, the short films are really very interesting, and they're in a short time they tell stories, and some of the stories are really very very interesting, and they portray some good women characters. And also I think OTT, I may be wrong, but I have a feeling that it is giving lot of opportunity for women scriptwriters and directors, etc. So I think that also brings in a new perspective, a more sensitive perspective into the stories, and also a kind of a ability to comment on the existing systems, cultural practices, etc. For instance, the Made in Heaven, the series looks at the whole concept of arranged marriages and marriages, and like how marriage is treated. It's not between two people, it's not out of love, but how marriage is seen as a business deal, as a so many ways, that kind of nuanced understanding of marriage and then romance or whatever it is, and relationships. It is being possible because of the nature of the platform, and also the audience. Like, whatever you make, I feel there is a certain audience to view it. Like, it is not for instance TV. You have only TV is seen as a family medium, and then so only families watch it together, so you cannot really be very radical, progressive, or challenging the social norms in any big way. Whereas in OTT, you have the option of choosing any serial that you want to watch or you don't want to watch, and we are really spoiled for choice because there's so much that is available, both Indian regional language, I mean Hindi regional language, and also the foreign content that is available to us. So I think OTT provides a good opportunity to have more nuanced and more what you call gray shades of people. And also, I feel OTT is giving an opportunity to talk of the people like Jamtara and other serials, which are of, not the urban metropolitan kind of a crowd, but also the township kind of a background. So we are able to look at their stories also in a very realistic fashion. Some of them I really like things, or crime series, or like for instance Scam and others. So whoever wants whatever type of content, they are able to find it on OTT. So there is commercial compulsions, TRPs, I think are not really a major factor in developing OTT content. And I see that as a positive, feature of the OTT.
In
And I
fact,
really feel that it's more women-centric content. Not women-centric, but good content on TV, on OTT platforms.
you mentioned that at GEC television, that is the general entertainment television, and the TV serials propagate an idea that women are the enemies of women. A woman is the enemy of a woman. That was, I thought, very interesting from the point of view that is that change happening now. So would you be able to explain that in a few details so that I can take it to other members and ask them to reflect on that, Dr.
Sure. You take any television serial, there is always one key character who is ferocious, aggressive, and the whole story revolves around her and the woman around her. And she is the one who actually determines everything. And I feel this particular trope is being repeated again and again because I think it meets the general understanding or the appeal of the theme that woman is the enemy of women. So it's a kind of deep rooted, myth in all of us that women are the major enemies of women. And so you have stories woven around this theme, whatever be the subject or whatever be the context. But there is a bad woman, there is a very aggressive woman, and then she tries to harm other women and they get out of it or whatever it is. So the theme continues. But whereas in OTT, because as I said, GAC is for family viewing. So you have mother-in-laws, daughter-in-law, everybody sitting and watching together, children, intergenerational viewing of the thing, and only one screen in the house everybody is watching. Whereas with OTT, it has changed totally because each one has his or her own screen because we all watch the content on our mobiles, and then so there is no restriction on what kind of content can be viewed because we are not viewing it together. So I think that is that's the technicality of OTT, which is actually helping the content creators to be more experimental in their approach to telling the story than the GEC channels, which are stuck in that rut of, mother-in-law, daughter-in-law, or, fighting or competing sisters-in-law, or, jealous second interest in the life of a man or whatever it is. So we are able to move out of that when it comes to OTT. That's my observation.
I had a feeling that when I said that I was getting 3 or 4 offers which kind of slotted women's sexuality in some kind of a format. And it may come across that I am saying that I am not for this kind of content, but that is not the point. In fact, our country is a country of Kama Sutra. We have great writers like Ismat Chugtai, Manto, uh, who have dealt with sexuality in a really, really beautiful and subtle manner. If we go to Freud, then Freud and sexuality, I mean, even if you open one book by Freud, then we will have interesting aspect to take a twist and really interesting twist on this aspect.
So yes, OTT platforms are pushing, but I think still what you call as the GZ, the general viewing, I think there is still a long way to go. There is still audience, and hopefully the OTT will play a role in kind of changing this kind of narrative. From our side, we have done a little bit of, we have worked with organizations like say PFI, for example, to work on serial. Sorry, my Hindi is very bad, so I can't remember it's Ek Kuch, my Hindi is still Tora Tora, so please excuse me. So we have worked on that serial where we had this character, Dr. Sneha, who talked about issues which are kind of relevant to women. So we have tried a bit on that. We have been also talking internally whether we could also in somehow partner with some of these OTT platforms to see how we can brought about some of those gender conversations around gender and social norms as well.
I completely agree with everybody here saying that definitely there is a difference on the OTT platform. But I flag what Shriram says, which is true that we still have a large population which is still hooked to the television, which is still watching this. and we are not seeing the trickle down effect of what is happening on the OTT to television, to this general viewing, which is what is a little concerning. That why, I mean, usually, entertainment industries follow trends, and we are not seeing a trend being followed where on the OTT you're finding very interesting content, diverse content, but this is not coming to the general viewing. And unfortunately, in our country, the general viewing is still very high. So we are still talking about a very small section of people who are perhaps watching this kind of film. But I would also like to flag one more thing, that apart from women centric kind of films.
Indeed, yeah, that is, the depiction of women in the large commercial films, masala entertainers were, limited to a few stereotypes, which is still prevalent to a certain degree, perhaps a little reduced, but still prevalent to a certain degree. But what is interesting is that perhaps even films are getting influenced by the change that OTT platforms have brought in the world of entertainment. So perhaps that will be to a larger degree, and the commercial, the large blockbuster kind of films will also reflect that. Priyanka, do you believe that something like this could happen, perhaps from your point of view or from a general viewer's point of view? Please come in.
Yes, Piyush. So, also one more thing which I would want to bring in here, I think we've been really discussing about the changing gender narrative in women. And whilst we discuss this, we also the kind of series that have been coming up recently, like if you see like Four More Shots and few other series, where there is this other representation of even LGBTQ, right? So that's something which I think we've not been discussing for a while, and we could probably bring that as well. That's one. Uh, and apart from that, what I feel the kind of freedom that's there in OTT is massive. With the kind of creativity, but it's just that one needs to really keep in mind that it can't be unhealthy when it's entertainment. So that's something which really one needs to keep in mind.
I feel that if we have good kind of feedback mechanisms put in place, like reviews of the serials and conversations about the serials or conversations about the content, and creating a kind of a public awareness or public participation in those conversations.
That sort of incited a lot of passion about how depiction should be. So those conversations are happening, and they are needed. And thank you very much for flagging that point off.
I have a question for the women, especially when the actresses and the writers who write shows like Four More Shots and many other such. I do watch a lot of content and then leave it halfway. How and why is it considered cool to use "maa behan ki galis" by young women in every sentence? It's considered cool. Do they realize who they're abusing? They're abusing the female anatomy, and it's considered cool. So empowerment of women is, the responsibility is also on us. What do we accept to act in? What are we doing? Where are these women? Do they really exist? That they're, because I keep in touch with so many young actors, and they tell me, Nalini, you should really come up and, do a podcast about this, because it disturbs us as well. But there are people who are writing this time and time again. There are actresses who are accepting it. It's considered cool to abuse you're abusing yourself. You're not abusing anybody else. So it's just a question that I have for the panelists and what they think about this, because I find it quite disturbing.
It is insulting to yourself, and I don't know why we would do that. And I kind of apologize to you on behalf of my Jamaat community if you're doing this. And the only thing that we can do is like bring more and more awareness by such talks and saying that, boss, ye aap nahi kar sakte. What, this is so senseless. I mean, this is seriously so senseless. What are you doing? Whom are you abusing? What are you trying to say? And this is, as a writer, this is not particularly in terms or in context of women, बट मुझे ओवरऑल ये लगता है कि गालियां ही देने का इतना कॉन्टेक्स्ट हमारा इतना बुरा होता है that there are no accurate galis given in the industry now. So everything comes down to your either your mother or your father or how many people your parents have fucked, and that's the end of the whole gamut of gali giving. Oh, come on. Galis can be given to your akal जो कम है. Galis can be given to your gurur जो ज़्यादा ज़्यादा गन्ने से ज़्यादा बड़ा हुआ है. Galis can be given to your whatever things. I mean, you know, your hest that your गधे जैसे आप जो चल के जा रहे हो कहीं किसी खेत में. I mean, there are lovely, interesting galis that I would like to write, and that would be more accurate to the context that I am writing or the scene that is being created, instead of just, you know, iska C, uska T, uska P. I mean, it's little funny and frustrating at the same time, and painful. Yes, that
Yes, Mona ji, and what's even more disturbing is that shows like this, I've only named one, but shows like this where the protagonists are mostly female, they go into second seasons. So, it's cool,
yeah. So just
in inverted
Nalini,
commas.
just one line to finish, just kind of rounding up what I'm saying, कि मुझे और accurate गालियां चाहिए. बस मुझे as a writer वो freedom चाहिए कि मैं अगर मर्दों की भी कहानी लिख रही हूँ, even if I'm writing the man's story, and if I write a gali which is not so punchy, which is not so powerful, but it is accurate, then मुझे नहीं लगता कि कोई actor या कोई director मुझे object करना नहीं चाहिए. In fact, they'll say, "Arey, this is lame, you know, that is lame." No, buddy, this is not lame. Yes, this is lame, but this is politically correct and this is good and accurate. I'm looking forward to that.
I wanted
Yeah.
to just pipe in here for a bit.
Yeah, Vinta.
So basically, it's normally, I mean, what Manisha was saying is very appropriate. It's a device people use to shock and grab eyeballs. I mean, it's like something that these people have been using where there is lack of story. Things like galis and all are like used, or violence even. In fact, the more gory it gets, the more eyeballs it grabs. Somewhere, I think the audiences also need to be made aware of this. And anecdotally, again, my experience, I remember when we were making Tara way back in the 1990s, the first trailer or the promo that was devised of the series, Ratna Pathak Shah, I mean, the promo was written separately, and then suddenly I watched it being shot that Ratna Pathak Shah slaps Navneet Nishan on her face. And I was the writer and creator of the show as well as the producer of the show. And I said, like, why is she slapping Navneet Nishan? No, Navneet Nishan slaps Ratna Pathak Shah. So I said, why is she slapping Ratna Pathak Shah? So I was told by the executive producers etc. that नहीं ये promo में जाने दो. I said लेकिन ये मेरी story में है नहीं. There is no reason. I mean, I've got a whole series written out for the next 2-3 years. There's no reason for her to slap her. They said नहीं promo में जाएगा तो लोग attract होंगे और लोग we'll grab eyeballs and we'll get people into the series. And somewhere around like 2 years later, we justified it in the storytelling because the slap became the most important talked about part of the series, whereas it was nowhere in the story at all. So, I mean, these are devices, these are gimmicks, and the gimmicks have gone overboard now to a point that there's no return. There's hardly any story material if you see in most of the content that is produced today. And it is full of these tropes and gimmicks like galis and violence and loud music tracks, bangs, dhang, 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 dhang goes on. For no rhyme or reason. And you realize wherever there's a big bang means there's nothing in the dialogues for the characters to say. So that's one point that I just wanted to add.
Would you like to come in? Sorry, Bina, you wanted to say something.
Well, I just want to say that for me, it's a bit of a giveaway that while stories are changing superficially, I think there's still superficial changes. I think there's still sort of catering to a male point of view. So you imagine that this is the kind of audience, this is the kind of things they will like, etc. And a lot of writers are forced into this. So being a woman, is not enough. It's, being a woman writer is not enough. You're in a system which is sort of very gendered towards the male. And it's the male point of view. So the way you behave, the way you write your characters, it is problematic. I mean, though the stories are changing a little, I must say, you do see it. But whether this change is fundamentally is a fundamental change is what I would question. I think it's almost, sometimes it feels like a trend that now the flavor of the season is having good women characters. So this is my worry about the situation at the moment. Yes, it's good, but whether it is actually a fundamental change, and whether this fundamental change, as I said earlier, will therefore bounce into other mediums, etc., is the question that is important to be asked.
Bina, that's a great point, and I would say that there are some indications that there might be a fundamental change. Having tasted blood, as it were, on screen, on the OTT, seeing women the way they are depicted in certain very good shows.
My mother used to watch all these TV serials, the regressive bigotry filled serials, and I was very much pained about that. But I could not stop her, or I don't have a right to stop her. But I did ask her why she liked so much. So what she told is कि हमने तो यही देखा है जिंदगी में, हमारे आसपास तो यही होता है, हमारे सारे रिलेटिव्स खानदान में यही होता है, देखा है. So what I found is one aspect is the things are reflection of society, country, place, or time, and the content is not, cannot overgrow suddenly what's happening in the society. I mean, it is it's very difficult to go beyond that. But there is another aspect of it, when I thought that in Doordarshan times, when there were a lot of good serials also, she used to watch those also, like Swabhiman. I can remember one at the top of my mind. So it's not just I mean, it is the same society, same place, but then it's also the writer's responsibility that it also makes some progressive elements in it, though the society may be regressive. But how do you represent it makes a big change. So how deeper you go, or how superficial you go, and how much you have these market pulls and push, that you just want to give something which people are glued on, or you want to inject something which is more worth. So it's these are my points. Thanks.
Anirudh, that's a very important point. The same lady, like your mother, who's watching all this, watched from movie, shows from the 90s which were not regressive at all, and perhaps now she will watch the OTT show. So it's like a full circle that will make the change happen. And you're right, the society, the same person watches the things, and that's how society changes.
As an audience, I want to see people, women protagonists who are their own knight in shining armor. I don't want to see that Abla Nariwala stuff. I want to see much more stuff which Tapsi Pannu does. That is example is Pink. I want to see women using the pain that the society causes them, and they channelize that pain, use their mental energy, think objectively, and then achieve something. I want people to idealize that. I want people to see them as their idols. Like, this is what you need to do, and not cry out and expect help from the men in your world. And another question which I want to raise is, if the support does not come to a woman, like speaking of Saini Gupta's role in FOMO Shots Please, she was not supported by her own company. So what suggestion the storyteller gave her was to use her own funds and then market her own book. While that was a good suggestion, but when the same thing has happened to a guy, for example, when you see the story of Guru, that was the biopic of late Sri Dhirubhai Ambani, the suggestion that was given to him was of an IPO. So why are not those suggestions given to women protagonists? That's it. Thank you.
Very interesting thing, Ripsy. Your desire to see those strong characters, I think, will resonate out there in the universe, and I'm sure it is going to increase.
One more point. We need to see much more roles in which, women are encouraged to take risk rather than playing it safe. That's
I'm going to bring in Mona Ambekaukar to address that point. Is Mona Ambekaukar is an actor and a creator who has taken a lot of risk and played very risky characters on screen. So Mona, would like to have your point of view.
The reason why women are not offered the choice of starting an IPO and are told to write a book is that we have progressed to the point where we are okay to listen to the woman's voice, but we don't really want her to be a commercial power. Because once she has her finance, her commercial power, then she's a real player at the table. When you say policy makers, decision makers, policy makers, what does that mean? That means the guy who signs the check.
One point is that in this whole discussion of changing gender narratives, I think we have to understand that the techniques and tools have to be distinguished from the content. So we've spoken a lot about content. I think that people still get hooked on to shows which may be regressive or shows that are in a loop and perpetuating the same kind of roles, because our techniques and our tools have become so slick, and audiences are pulled into it. It's pretty much like what happens with video games. You have an entire team that works towards how to keep the player hooked. There are psychologists on board, there are psychiatrists on board, there are designers on board, and at the end of the day, however slick the game is, very often, more often than not, it's all about violence. So I think we also, in our discussing gender narratives, we have to probably make audiences or people around us or be ourselves aware of the fact that the techniques and tools have also evolved, and we need to separate the grain from the chaff. That's my limited point.
Film really motivates thought and action, and that's what really all of us need to bear in mind. And OTT is providing a great space for the industry. There's so much storytelling that can really happen. That's all I have to say.
My hope is the increasing trend of experimenting with female leads, women protagonists, and stories driven by gender diverse individuals will hopefully bring about a change and help move away from branding such contents as women-centric to being looked at as a regular and normal content.
We should reach a position where we're not talking about female-centric, we're talking about good content. But I would also like to just comment on what somebody, I think it was Aruna in the audience, who spoke and said there are lots and lots of issues. I wish the OTT would also, gender issues, a lot of the stuff. We do see occasional small town issues, but I think this country is really vast, and it's really would be great to also see within the woman narrative a diversity of experience, of struggle, etc. So that's what I would like to see, that you get a texture of India through these rather than just being where we see now a lot of just urban centric stories.